This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, Freakazoids? The word I invented. Oh wait, I guess not. Forget it. Yep, forget it. Well, how's everybody doing? Today we did the Rosenbaum trial. Seems like people liked it. Wasn't really a lot of talking. Texting amongst each other. What's Blue digging for over there? What are you digging for, Blue? Huh? He heard his name. He heard his name. And he looked at the camera. Yeah, so I thought maybe we could, apparently, remember the search they did at that property? They found items of interest, which is pretty interesting in itself, isn't it? And so what I did today was I mapped out all the locations of BTK's victims, which are all in, basically, almost all of them are in Wichita, the ones that we know about. However, it appears that maybe there's other victims. Maybe even in Oklahoma here. Yep, so I went back and I did the newspapers.com on the name of the individual that they think might be connected. I found a whole bunch of articles, so we'll go over all those. Alright, so I'll just, at the beginning of the show, I'll just do my normal pitch, or whatever you want to call it, but every single night on this show, the freaks out there help support the channel. I've been putting a goal on the top of the screen, which is less than what was normally out there, but people wanted to see what was being, how much super chats are coming in. So there's a goal at the top of the screen, and there's a super freak. So when you send in super chats, you become the super freak after a certain number is hit. And so it allows my channel to make an income, and at the same time, at the end of the month, I donate a tremendous amount of the income to various charities out there. A lot. Like we've given 6,000 this year so far already, and 163,600 since January 2020. All right, so if you'd like to help support the channel, there is no ad revenue on these live streams. That would be fantastic. Thank you. All right. Anyways, let me get to the. If not, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. All right. All right. So the in this, what's Blue doing? Did Blue go grab that toy and put it there? I didn't see that there a minute ago. Why did he do that? What did Blue just do? I missed it. Did he just go grab the toy and put it there? Or? I was doing something else. What happened, Debbie? I think he needs Chloe there. Chloe's outside. Anybody there? Hello? Anybody there? Hello, 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 anybody? Yeah, so did Blue move that little tribble looking thing into there? Okay, well, Debbie said, Blue, what the F? And then I didn't see what he was doing. Okay, so I don't know what she was talking about. I mean, but by the way, it's chat amongst yourself in the chat. This isn't a thing where, I'm doing the show and you guys aren't able to talk, I mean, it's weird when I'm doing the show and then 20 minutes later the same comment's still on the screen at the bottom. Thanks, Yabba Dabba Doo. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, he disappeared for a long time, but he's back in now. Yeah, like they always do that. They dig around it's called bedding. I mean, I saw him do that. I thought there was some other thing. Because somebody said, what the F? No evidence of crime in disappearance of Netflix software engineer Yohanes Kidane. So this is what I think he went there and, probably just, I mean, that's what we were saying yesterday, that to me it doesn't look like there's any, it just, I don't know. I mean, it's like you got the phone there, he went there, I mean, there is some stuff like, why would he do that and everything, but we don't really know, nobody knows anything about anybody, what they're feeling, behind the scenes or anything, right? It says the ongoing investigation into missing Netflix software engineer Yohanes Kidane found no evidence of a crime, according to cops, despite his family fears over a recent strange encounter he had on a rideshare trip. San Jose police have the update Monday, or gave an update Monday, a week after the 22-year-old New York man went missing after taking another Uber despite his fears over a ride just 2 days earlier. The investigation has uncovered no evidence to suggest that a crime has occurred. Police tweeted of the college grad who vanished just weeks after moving to Silicon Valley. San Jose detectives have kept Mr. Kidane's family advised of all pertinent developments. They probably even have him on camera. I would think if he went to the visitor center, he's on camera. They probably have him, and they're like, wow, he put that there. Oh, wow, look at that. He put that there. So where did he go? Yeah, I mean, that's my gut feeling yesterday, was that there was I didn't feel anything nefarious. The previous Uber drive that he thought was weird made me wonder, but I mean, what does he do? Call the same crazy person up again and get a ride from them? San Jose detectives have kept Mr. Kidane's family advised. Kidane was last seen on surveillance footage leaving his apartment and getting into a black Toyota sedan Uber bound for San Francisco late August 14th, just weeks into the job. He was reported missing by his family the following day. What the hell's going down? What's going on here? Wakes up OnlyFans model has 2 tongues and feline. Jesus. Dead woman wakes up. I almost want to switch over to that. No, it's more like a bay. I don't know if you call that a river underneath the Golden State Bridge. Just 2 days before, on August 12th, Kidane allegedly had a strange encounter with an Uber driver that prompted him to cancel the ride after crossing into San Francisco from Oakland. He was subsequently wary of using ride shares alone, the write-up explained. Kidane's family became officially concerned on August 14th when his phone location kept placing him at the Golden State Bridge, which is more than an hour from his apartment. That must be, is that like India? I can't tell. Kidane's location was still on the bridge the next morning, which prompted his younger sister, Sarah, to panic. So it was on the bridge. Was still on the bridge. I thought his phone was found near the bridge on a grassy knoll, basically. Yeah, it doesn't need to make sense to you, Texas Annie. To me, it just means that, likely, it seems most likely that he went there intentionally, whether he went there to meet somebody or not, and then he's the one that left the items there, because it doesn't make any sense for somebody else to leave the items. I mean, what do they do? Do something to him and walk in there and drop these items? So it makes more sense that he put the items there and he went off and disappeared. I think most people would return something if they found it on the ground. I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. I have no idea what you're referring to at all. There's a lot of deadly attacks out there. You have to be specific, like type in full sentences where people know what you're saying. I don't know what that means either, Ada, not SF. Yeah, I think like in a place like San Francisco, at a visitor center, I think most of the people walking around are going to be like sightseers or something, and why would they steal something? Like most people, I think out of 100 people, 10 people would steal it. And you just hope that the other 90% grabbed it first. I mean, I could see downtown, if a wallet was left, that people would run away with it, but at a sightseeing spot, that's probably not the place where all the homeless people hang out. Well, and then there's people like Daphne. I guess if you, what would you do with a lottery ticket? Post something online and say, hey, I found a lottery ticket. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Huh? I don't know what you guys are talking about, Heather. They have another live update on that deadly attack on now. What does that mean, anybody? Does anybody know what that means? Anybody? And then disappears right after mentioning it. Hey, thanks, Lane Dune. I wouldn't have conflicted, and don't even know what that meant. I wouldn't have been conflicted and try to find the owner if it was a winner. Yeah, maybe. You would have been. Yeah, that's true. Like if you win $1 million, somebody else really deserves it. But what you do is split it with them. Because it's their fault they lost it, So you wouldn't. I don't know. That's what I think would be fair. Like if you drop a lottery ticket on the ground, I don't know what other deadly attack you're referring to. I meant to say on that other deadly attack. What deadly attack? I don't know what you're referring to. There's a live... What do you mean a live? You mean like another YouTube live stream? Okay, well, why don't you all go watch that? I'm going to do my show over here, okay? Yeah, you guys go watch that other live stream talking about a deadly attack. I'm going to go over this BTK stuff, all right? All right. Let's see. I still don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. No idea. Yeah, see you later. Go check that one out. I'm going to go do the show over here. Yeah, because why don't you tell me what the deadly attack is? Then I don't have to, just say what it's about. You guys are ridiculous. It's another live stream about a deadly attack. Well, what's the deadly attack? Yeah, it sure is, Melina. It sure is. Yeah, I mean, the BTK probably admitted to specific ones. And there's probably a whole bunch more. I find it... One thing I did find strange is that one of his murders was his next-door neighbor. Like, I didn't even notice that, but when I plotted out all the pins, it's actually right in between those two pins that we had last night. Huh? Hey, 8675309. Where's the button there? Hey, I wanted you to tell me what it was about. Listen to this, everybody. If I say, oh yeah, well, who got killed? I mean, what's going on? Oh, it's another live about somebody killed. How about you say the live about there's this person named so-and-so or something. You get what I'm saying? It's just mind-boggling. I still don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Still, to this minute. Thank you, RF. Yeah. So anyways, it sounds like in this case right here, they have no information that something nefarious happened. And maybe he's decided to take off, or maybe, committed suicide or something. We don't know, right? Because we don't have any answers, but they haven't been able to find anything nefarious. They likely got a hold of the Uber driver, and everything was totally appropriate there. I think what the police need to do is put out the precise timeline that they've developed. If they want to keep speculation down, they could say, well, the Uber driver dropped him off at the the visitor center there. Oh yeah. Cleanse it more. Cleanse it more. Thank you, Robin Berardo. Right. So, anyways, that's it. I'm not even gonna cover that case unless the law enforcement puts out a timeline. Okay, or there's breaking news on it. Something like that. Other than that, it's just one of those things where you're not going to get any information. The family's probably they're dialed in, and they're not going to they're not going to put it out there because they probably know it's nothing nefarious at this point, and now they're just trying to prepare for what might come next. Then I got this one really quick to go over here. Sketch and surveillance video released in assault and kidnapping case near Fort Lauderdale. What do they put a bunch of pimples on his face? Or what? What's going on there? Oh, you guys can't see it. The Broward Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit released a sketch. Hey, thank you so much, Kathy Chapin. Released a sketch of an individual involved in a disturbing case of sexual assault and attempted kidnapping. Detectives have also released surveillance footage showing the suspect's vehicle. The incident occurred around 3 a.m. on Saturday, August 12th, in an unincorporated Broward County near the 2900 block of West Sunrise Boulevard. According to the victim, an adult female, she was seated on a curb when an unfamiliar man driving a dark-colored pickup truck pulled up and propositioned her with money for sexual favors. So he probably thought she was a sex worker. Rejecting the suspect, she began to walk away. Get away from me, you jerk. And then she starts walking away. The victim declined the subject's it says officer. I think it meant to say offer. The victim declined the subject's. Let's see. The victim declined the subject's officer said. No, that's supposed to be offer. Said BSO spokesperson Gertie St. Louis. The subject is possibly 50 to 60 years old. That's what the victim has told them. The victim is a 26-year-old female. Subsequently, the man exited the vehicle, forcibly grabbing the victim's arm. So then as soon as she said, "Nah, I'm not interested," jumps out of the vehicle. Yeah. Hold on, I gotta read some comments. No, his neighbor wasn't his first kill. Wasn't even close. Alright. It was in the second batch in the 80s. So no, you didn't know about it. Alright, the victim declined the subject's offer. The subject is possibly between 50 and 60 years old. That's what the victim has told them. The victim is 26-year-old female. Subsequently, the man exited the vehicle, then forcibly grabbing the victim's arm and compelling her. That seems kind of weird writing. And compelling her into the truck, according to authorities. Authorities said, despite the victim's struggle, the suspect managed to overpower her outside the vehicle and sexually assaulted her. I mean, just right there. That's crazy. Authorities said despite the victim's struggle, the suspect managed to overpower her outside the vehicle and sexually assaulted her. According to investigators, the victim fought the subject and managed to exit the vehicle, St. Louis said. However, the subject, I think that needed to say something else. There isn't a guy named St. Louis. Whoever wrote this, man, needs to, this is shitty. However, the subject managed to overpower the victim and sexually assaulted her outside the car. The victim was able to break free from the suspect's grasp and find help at a nearby establishment where she was able to call 911. I guess apparently that's the pickup truck right there. Video surveillance footage from the area captured the victim's desperate sprint for help after the incident. The video also showed the suspect vehicle trailing closely behind her as she searched for help. Let's see what this looks like. So there it is right there. Oh, is that her walking? Oh, wow. So he's trying to get away from him, I guess. Holy shit. Okay, so what did that say? The victim was able to break free. Look at that. She's trying to... Wow, authorities said despite the victim's struggle, the suspect managed to overpower her outside the vehicle. Managed to overpower her? You already said that. The victim was able to break free from the suspect's grasp and find help at a nearby establishment where she was able to call 911. Video surveillance footage from the area captured the victim's desperate sprint for help after the incident. The video also showed the suspect's vehicle trailing closely behind her as she searched for help. Detectives are asking anyone who may be able to identify the subject in the sketch or identify the vehicle to contact Broward Crime Stoppers. If they were in the area and saw anything, detectives are asking to contact them because any little detail may be able to help them solve this case. If you have any information on this case, call Broward County Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS. Remember, you can always remain anonymous. Here, let's see these again. That's pretty creepy. Weird. Actually, let me throw this in here. This might turn into something bigger. Come on. Broward. And they said it was in the 2900 block of West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale. Is that right there? Okay, so it's right around in this area. Thank you, Tiffany W. Kind of wondering if that's the spot right there. I see it. Okay. So let's take a look. Where is that spot where she was running by? I think it's right. It could be right there. No. No, let's go to the 2900. 2900. Alright, so it's right in this spot, they're saying. Here, let me... Here, hold on, I'm just trying to find it. I think it's not that one. The camera's over here, maybe. Yeah. It's just right in, so supposedly it's right in this area here. Says that it was near the 2900 block of West Sunrise Boulevard. So near the 2900 block. So maybe not necessarily in it. Or it's off. That's 3,000, 2,900, so maybe it was down here. Yeah, it's interesting because I can see where it drove by, chasing her. Yeah, let me go on the ground. Check from down here. No? There's this little thing that you're, see that right there? I'm looking for this, and then parking here with the... It's April this year. April. So it should look pretty similar, but man, that looks like garbage. I wonder if it's on a side street like that. Don't know. Well, anyways, the 2900 block starts right there. Yeah, if that doesn't work either, I don't think. Let me see. Yeah. Don't know. It's not really sticking out like it should. Should be really simple here, but they said near the 2900 block. So that could mean that it's out on one of these side streets, and then if that's the case, then it's going to be hard. Although the parking spots look like they're, you know, like part of a business, which wouldn't be back up in these areas. So anyways, maybe we'll revisit that later. I'm going to go, now we're going to go to the BTK stuff, all right? Man, I tried looking these things up one time, and holy crap. Can you just... Yeah, there you go. Stop seeing that ad. Yeah, we know, Margaret. Hey, do you mind if we let's just go over this part?
With no
It says, authorities looking into the cold case murders and unsolved disappearances have uncovered items of interest in a new search conducted over the past 2 days at the former Park City, Kansas home of Dennis Rader, the BTK serial killer, bind, torture, kill. The short version is, through the investigation, we developed information on some possible trophies of Dennis Rader's, and we followed up on those leads and worked with Park City. Trophies, huh? They did a dig in the area, and we did recover some items of interest. I mean, that's interesting, right? Investigators have been eyeing Rader's possible connection to the unsolved 1976 disappearance of Cindy Dawn Kinney in Osage County, Oklahoma, for months. And they have expanded their scope. So they've been really interested in this person for months now. And they've expanded their scope to look at possible connections with other unsolved cases in the region. So I guess that's her right there. Cynthia Dawn Kinney was last seen on July 23rd, 1976 in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Dennis Rader, also known as the serial killer BTK for his method of using bind, torture, kill on victims, was active about 2 hours away in Wichita at the time, and says he has now been questioned twice. So he himself says, yeah, I've been questioned twice. Kinney was last seen leaving her aunt and uncle's laundromat. Yeah, so there's a picture there. I don't know yet if they're related, if they're related to new crimes. With the information we developed, where these items were items that were never located, I absolutely believe they're related to Dennis's crimes. On Tuesday, with the search underway, Rader's daughter, Carrie Rawson, told Fox News Digital she believes investigators were searching for trophies her father may have hidden on the property. Yeah. Oh boy. Authorities are expected to release more information this afternoon. Our concern is more for families, he said. I hate tearing open old wounds, but we've still got to follow the leads we've got, where they go, and we'll try and be as respectful as we can to everybody involved and still do our jobs. So I got that one. One of the things I was reading the Wikipedia on him earlier, I think it was down here. Yeah, this part was crazy. So, in his letters to police, Rader asked if his writings, if I put my writings on a floppy disk, could they be traced or not? The police answered his question in a newspaper ad posted in the Wichita Eagle, saying it would be safe to use the disk. Is that a quote? Is that a... Let me see if that's even in there. No, that was from 1980 something. Forget it. Anyway, so on February 16, 2005, Raiders... Oh, that was way later than what I just said. He sent a purple 1.44 megabyte Memorex, you know those stupid floppy disks that look like the ones on Star Trek, to Fox affiliates KSAS TV in Wichita. Also enclosed were a letter, a gold-colored necklace with a large medallion, and a photocopy of the cover of Rules of Prey, a 1989 novel. Police found, so he sent it in, and then police found metadata embedded in a deleted Microsoft Word document that was unknown to Rader, still stored on the floppy disk. So he deleted it. He didn't know that they could retrieve a deleted file. The metadata contained the words Christ Lutheran Church, and the document was marked as last modified by Dennis. An internet search determined that a Dennis Rader was president of the church council. When investigators drove by Rader's house, a black Jeep Cherokee was seen, and that same black Cherokee was related to another incident above. So, yeah, I don't know, Karen. But anyways, shouldn't have to rely on the dogs, Karen. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's more people here now, so if you'd like to help support the channel, feel free to do so with the super chats, and if you have a comment that you want to make, I can read it. I appreciate the support. You guys are it. for these live streams, as you all already know. Thank you, Miranda Fredis Hilly. I thought that was crazy, though. And they got him on the metadata on the floppy disk. And then listen to this last part here. Police obtained a warrant to test a pap smear taken from Dennis Rader's daughter at the Kansas City State University Medical Clinic. DNA test showed a familial match between the pap smear and the sample from Wegerle's fingernails, so one of the victim's fingernails. This indicated that the killer was closely related to Rader's daughter, and combined with the other evidence was enough for police to arrest Rader. There you go. Yep. Hello, Chair Doobie. Yeah, but it just, I mean, the problem is, Karen, is if people don't want to support the channel without throwing in a clothing on Blue and Chloe, then it just is what it is. Kind of like BK and his dad's DNA. Yeah, a little bit. Familial match. Thanks, Missy6X. Alright, so we got that one, and I'm just going to go through these other articles from today. Dennis Rader's prime suspect in unsolved case. So he's the prime suspect.
Welcome into 12
Cynthia
News
Don
4.
Kinney's
Prime
case.
suspect is what Osage County, Oklahoma investigators are calling BTK serial killer Dennis Rader in connection
and
to
here's what I
Unsolved.
think. I think that because she's 16, he didn't really want to admit to it.
Old cases there.
Investigators found what they call items of interest during
Thanks,
this
Jess
dig at
Junie.
the park, the city property where Rader's home office once stood.
We have many new details this afternoon. Since we were first to tell you about the dig, let's get it over to 12 News investigator Haley Tucker at the Breaking News Desk.
Jacob Lane, the Osage County, Oklahoma sheriff and undersheriff say they're, quote, 100% certain Dennis Rader had something to do with a missing persons cold case there, and they've uncovered potential connections to other unsolved cases in the area. Investigators say this dig at the lot where Rader's home once stood in Park City was closely tied to the case.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, now we know exactly where that is. The hell's going on? Oh, it's way over there in Florida. Right there. And this is where they were searching. Right there. And in that picture there, they're along that fence and they're digging up that cement path right there. Which is weird because the cement path was put there way after BTK was arrested. I mean, it was put there after 2018. So could it just be that there was something back here that he buried something under, and then when they put the path in, it also covered it up too? Yeah, thanks, Chair Doobie. And I don't know if any of you guys saw me on Court TV yesterday, but I kind of screwed up. I couldn't remember the name of Shanna, even though it was written right in front of my face because I put notes together so I could just quickly say them. But at one point I didn't hit a return on something, so it looked like a blocky. I don't know. You'd have to be there. But I thought it went pretty good other than that. But it's so hard to explain what I visually show you guys. You know, imagine me doing Koberger and saying, yeah, okay, so the car passes and then it goes back behind this apartment complex. And then later it does it again at 3:39. It goes back behind the apartment complex. Yeah, and then it goes back behind the apartment complex again. And on the fourth pass, which is 8 minutes later after that, at like a 4:05 or 6, it goes back there, but then it turns around back behind the apartment and goes back down the same road it came from, and then does a 3-point turn at Queen and King, and then turns around again and goes, right? It just doesn't have the same effect. I wish these channels out there, the real television true crime channels, realized how much more the viewers would absolutely appreciate the visual representation of a timeline element. Even if it's a short thing, they would just go, oh wow, I get it now. Instead, it's just sort of like you got to talk, you know, and that doesn't work for some of this stuff. You know, it works, but it's not quite as good. Thanks, Elaine Tolling and Vicky Kennedy. BTK is probably delighted to take some attention away from BK. Isn't that interesting? You get rid of the T. Oh, that's got to be it, man. Brian Koberger is really bind kill. You know, because he got rid of the... Oh, my God. No, thanks, Karen.
Boom time. Smiley face.
No, I was just referring to the dog part. You know that's coming now, right? People are going to start saying, oh my God, look at Brian Koberger, BTK. It's related somehow.
BTK is
Case of Cynthia Dawn Kinney. She went missing from Pahuska, Oklahoma back in 1976. And while they won't detail the evidence found there, the undersheriff says items seized in other areas and at Rader's property have given them some certainty that Rader is involved in the Kinney case.
Isn't that amazing? They found stuff in this search that gave them, you know, basically certainty that Dennis Rader was involved with Kinney's case.
The office says items recovered during the dig will...
I mean,
the
listen to that.
undersheriff
Listen.
says items seized in other areas and at Rader's property have given them some certainty that Rader is involved in the Kinney case. The office says items recovered during the dig will be
I
examined
mean, that's insane. Thanks, Texas Annie.
to determine if they're relevant to...
I'll tell you what. Here's a better example. In the Kylie Rodney case, imagine me trying to explain the overlay and the vehicle going into the water. It just... And doesn't it amaze you guys? To this day, not one outlet ever picked that up when it's an absolute factual fact that that video shows her car going into the water. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. It's unbelievable to me. The way the BTK signed his letters, the anagram literally looks like a bound woman. Yeah. Yeah, maybe someday we'll go over the BTK case. Hey, thanks, Karen, on the PayPal there.
To this case or other open, unsolved investigations. I've been talking with Rader since April. After a Fact Finder 12 got a tip, investigators were looking at him as a potential suspect in murder and missing persons cases. Rader had confirmed with us that he was questioned by Oklahoma investigators about the Kinney case because of visits made to that area during the time she disappeared. However, he denied any involvement in the case. Osage County investigators say they have been collaborating with...
Oh, what's this one?
First of all, explain what this case is involving, what...
Maybe I'll try to do this. Let me get this one for a different time. I'll fix the audio. Alright, it's 30-something minutes long.
She was missing all of her personal items.
Yeah, so maybe, I think that would be interesting, but it only comes out of the right side. I think Dennis Rader's daughters tries to be too involved with stuff. Just go do your thing, okay? Do whatever you're doing. It's just getting to the point where, like every case, oh yeah, that's just like my dad. Yeah. Let me be, like all of a sudden, like Brian Koberger and Hurm, every single serial killer found, they go try to get a hold of Dennis Rader's daughter to ask her, like, hey, yeah, how similar is this one? You find that a little weird? Yeah. Hey, thanks, Chira Doobie. All right. I mean, I understand her crazy situation that she had, but I don't know. She's not like, I wouldn't. I mean, I guess is she an expert on serial killers because her dad was one? I don't know. To contribute what? I don't know what that means. I don't think so. I don't agree. Let's see. We are lucky to have her exorience. I don't know. I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's great that when she talks about her father and that story. I watched her. It was great. It was on. But what I don't understand is now consulting her on Hoorman and the, Brian Koberger, things like that. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't make any sense to me. So I totally respect her opinion and stuff on her dad and what she was going through and just kind of like how it was, but that's about it. I don't know. Why would he want to be following this with great... I don't understand, Ada. I mean, I'm sure he... I don't know why would he be following this with great interest? It has nothing to do with his case. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, then do that privately on the side, right, Zoe? I mean, there's no real reason for her to be, doing these interviews like, yeah, well, it's similar to my dad. See what the problem is? Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. So it has nothing to do with this. See, you guys are like Olivia and Zoe in there. You're saying exactly what I'm saying. She shouldn't be comment. I don't think it's necessary to have her talking about Brian Koberger and Hoorman. She's not talking about the families and the victims or anything like that. They're actually asking her questions about, hey, is this similar to like your dad and stuff? And but whatever. I mean, whatever anybody wants to watch, you just watch it. Yeah, that's exactly right. Cape Breton drone pilot. I don't know, Texas Annie. I'm not like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, it sounds like she's a hero. No, we don't know what he is, Ada. I think he was a big Ted Bundy fan. And I think he was emulating him, but I mean, we don't know if he's going to be following the BTK saga with great interest. I know it's not right timing to ask, but I know I'm going to fall asleep. I even asked in a super chat. What did you ask in a super chat? Let me go look. Oh, sure. Sorry if I missed. When are you getting Chloe notebooks? Well, I think I'm just going to wait till I get like the office built out and everything like that. I think that's when I'm going to do it. It's too much here. But you never know, Ada. Maybe he really is. He's just gobbling it up. Oh, wow. I should have left some items around. Koberger. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's just an absolute fact that he's really into this situation here. And by the way, even if he was, he'd probably pretend he wasn't, because people would wonder, why are you interested in Dennis Rader right now? What's going on? Right? Her and her mother weren't aware of what he was doing. Right, so it's sort of like after the fact. Exactly, they didn't have a clue. I mean, so there she is right there, right? So
with Nordic Track, the results you want start here.
Let's go on a
Now I want to go to what could be an intriguing connection here. We're learning more about criminology student Koberger, including the fact that he studied under famed criminologist Dr. Catherine Ramsland. Ramsland has studied notorious serial killer Dennis Rader, also known as BTK,
there you go. See? And then,
which stands for bind, torture, and kill. He has been convicted of killing several people.
See, now it's Koberger, BTK, BK. You see?
He
Look
was arrested
at
more than 15 years ago. He's behind bars. Rader's daughter is Carrie Ralston. She says she's concerned her father may have been in contact with Koberger. Carrie Ralston is my guest now, and good morning to you. A lot of confusion connections here. Just want to try and take it slow
right.
here,
It is
Carrie,
confusing.
okay? This teacher had a contact with your father as she was teaching in Lehigh, Pennsylvania, DeSales University. Now, Koberger was studying for his PhD in the state of Washington.
C.J. McCallum played.
Why do you believe he had a connection to your infamous father, now in jail?
It's really common in general for people
Yeah,
in
he's
the
plucked him.
public or criminology
86753,
students
yeah.
especially
We know that.
to correspond with my father via letters and sometimes talk to him on the phone. And since Dr. Ramsland had a long-term, several years, academic, intimate relationship with my father and a personal friendship, I wouldn't be surprised if Koberger at least tried to contact my father or had contact. At this point, we don't have proof of it. We would need to see letters.
Anybody could say what she's saying right here. It wouldn't need her
or
to
in
say
my father's jail cell.
Wow, so that physical evidence may be out there. It has not been confirmed, but maybe it's a possibility as you express here. Your father studied criminal justice.
Committing a total of 7 in the 1970s before I was born.
That's pretty bushy looking right there.
And then he was sort of a prolific student of his own after he graduated as a
Look at that. He was like some sort of a, I can't remember what they called him, but an officer of some sort. I mean, look at this guy. And look at Koberger wanted to be a help out law enforcement, right? Like, hey, I could help you guys out with, so maybe he was trying to do something similar like that. Yeah, something like a park ranger. Do you have a gun too? Okay. So, anyways, we're going to go now. We're going to take a look at Cynthia Dawn Kinney the way we normally do using the newspapers.com. So I'm going to be reading, everybody. So make sure to support the channel even when I'm reading, okay? Because I know that's the part where it just goes slow as hell and it sounds like this in my head. So here we go. This is the first one that I could find because she went missing on, I think it was in June. And this is a June 29th article right here. It says, a $1,500 reward has been established by relatives of 16-year-old cheerleader missing since last week. The cash has been put up for information about the girl who officials fear has been kidnapped. Cynthia Dawn Kinney disappeared from a laundry last Wednesday. We're confident she didn't leave on her own, an Osage County Sheriff Department spokesman said Monday. Officials are looking for a 1966 caramel-colored Plymouth Belvedere, which witnesses said they saw the girl enter, if I could get rid of whatever the hell that is, with a man and a woman. I mean, I don't know. That part's strange. I don't know if he owned a car like that. Then in July, there was this one of 1976. State Senator John Dahl, D. Barnsdall, and State Rep Bill Kennedy Pahuska today asked the FBI and the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation to assist Pahuska and Osage County law enforcement officers in the probing of the case of Cindy Kinney, 16th, so I had to look up Cindy and Cynthia of Pawhuska. A girl had been missing since June 23rd. So that first article was 6 days later. Osage County District Attorney Bill Hall said today that his office, which is heading the investigation, has already had a working relationship with the OBI and had talked with the FBI and the Kinney case. Hall said that his office welcomed any additional help. However, Dahl said he personally contacted the FBI and the OBI and asked that they lend all support possible to Pawhuska officers in clearing up the heartbreaking case that has everyone perplexed. We have a crime here that needs the expert assistance of the FBI and the OBI, and I have asked that they contact our local officials and lend them every assistance they can. He said the Federal Bureau has been contacted previously, and they said they had conducted a preliminary investigation on the case, the legislator said, but they have indicated that, let me go to over here, number 1, never seen a paper do that, list it like this, but over here, their information is that the girl left with people who knew they did not feel, let's see, the girl left with people who she knew, and they did not feel it was an abduction. I asked them this morning to reevaluate the situation. I feel that Cindy, if she left with someone she knew, left only under duress, and that makes it an abduction, Dahl said. Dahl said his office and the Sheriff's Department had not been contacted by Dahl. We welcome any assistance from the investigative agency. We've already had a working relationship with the OBI and the Kinney case. 2 OBI agents, Ted Limke and Mike Wilkerson, were in Hall's office today reviewing the Kinney case. We've worked with these agents previously, and they're extra well qualified agents. We're really happy to have these qualified people working with the local qualified people. Chief Criminal Investigator Bill Mitchell has also been working with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation in the matter. Hall said that as late as noon today, the county investigators excluded more people in the case. We're still looking for the right piece of information, the right break, he said. Thank you, A Wrinkle in Crime. Yes, another tough night. That looks like Charadubi got a membership. So that was the early investigation. They got the FBI involved. And that's a picture of her right there. This is an article from August 14th, 1976. So it's like 2 months later now. Why would a well-liked, apparently happy 16-year-old girl suddenly walk away from her summer job and disappear with 3 strangers? The weird part was Dennis Rader, he was always acting alone, so it's weird. That's a oddity that doesn't match very well. The question has stymied authorities since June 23rd, the last day Cynthia Dawn Kinney was reportedly seen. Witnesses' account indicate the 5'1", 97 pounds, so she's really little, youngster abandoned her work in her aunt's laundromat after being approached by 2 women, one about 18 to 20 years old, the other about 30. The 3 reportedly walked outside the laundromat and left in a beige 1965 or 1966 model Plymouth driven by a young man. We began grasping for clues on that day, and we're still grasping for something, anything that will help us. There were no screams, no show of force, no overheard threats, no apparent motive. Still, authorities are handling the case as if it definitely were a kidnapping. I guess, you know what I would say is, how do you know for certain that she was the one that got into the car with these people? Let's see. Still, authorities are handling the case as if it definitely were a kidnapping. Nothing has come along to convince us otherwise. The sheriff and district attorney, Bill Hall, strongly believe that the brown-haired teenager is not a runaway. She was a friend of my daughter, Hall said. Knowing Cindy, it is impossible to conceive that she went with the people voluntarily. Cindy was happy, not the runaway type at all. Her reputation is good everywhere, Wayman said. Because of the time and the place, Hall doesn't believe the alleged kidnapping was pre-planned. The laundromat is located downtown. 4 customers were inside the building when Miss Kinney left at about 9:45, so they recognized her. She left behind a partly eaten sweet roll and her purse with all its contents. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Don Kinney, note that money she had been saving for fall school clothing was left in their home 8 miles southeast of Pawhuska. Alright, that's what I wanted to look for. Hold on. Pawhuska. Yeah. Well, there he is. I mean, he's 86 now. So this one says 1982. So that one might not be the one. This one says that her husband still has returned. Difficulty. 8 miles southeast of Baja. So they have another house that's over here. Like, let's see. 8 miles southeast. So something over there. So let's see where these other ones go. I mean, this is a long time ago, though. So that's not it. Maybe this one? Oh. I think that's going to be the one. That's close enough where you're driving, it's 8 miles with the windy roads. So there we go. That's where she lived, right here. See how you do that? Donald, actually. there you go. So that's going to be the spot. There's Pawhuska there. And there, what, was there a laundromat in here? There's only one. Doesn't mean there wasn't another one before, but small towns like this hardly change at all. Hey you guys, what do you think the odds of getting to the gold tonight are in here? We've got 400 and something people watching. Seems like it should be pretty easy. Any chance? And there's the laundromat right there. Osage Laundry. Laundry, you know, so I bet you that's where it was. Right there. And then they live right here. Let me move this. I'm in the wrong one. There we go. All right. So we got that. She left behind a partly eaten sweet roll. Yep. Cindy hadn't planned to leave with anyone. Thank you, simply me. Mrs. Kinney said. Personally, I don't think she knew any of those three. She had just been elected to be a cheerleader for this coming year at the high school. She was just thrilled about it, Miss Kinney said. She had a practice schedule at 11 a.m. that day, and it would have taken wild horses to have kept her from that. A friend of the family, said Mrs. Kinney, only recently was emotionally able to return to work in the dry cleaning store the couple owns here. Her husband still, recently was emotionally able to return to work. Well, what happened to her? In the dry cleaning store the couple owns, her husband still hasn't returned to his trade as a carpenter. It is difficult to concentrate on any one thing when our minds are on this all the time, Miss Kinney said. Sometimes, oh, I see. A friend of family, said Mrs. Kinney, only recently, okay, so the mother of Cynthia. Thank you, Cheryl Bullock. Oklahoma and Kansas Crime Bureau have been drawn to the investigation, and the FBI has been contacted. A composite drawing has been made on the man in the car that day. I mean, did BTK ever use other people like that? We're still trying to find someone who saw something the others didn't that morning. You know, so it's sort of interesting when you read how they frame the article in the paper. Let me find that one again. Hold on. Where was that? Was it this one? No. This one? No. Yeah. Cynthia Dawn was last seen in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Dennis Rader, also known as a serial killer BTK for his method of using bind, torture, kill on victims, was active about 2 hours away in Wichita. He has now been questioned twice. Hey, thank you, Kit Kat. One of the original freaks. Now, so that's her right there. Leaving the Osage laundromat. See, this is what I don't like. They leave out two sort of, well, it does say two women right here. So, I don't know. I mean, how do you put that in there? Hey, Kit Kat. Appreciate it. Thank you. Another old freak. Yeah, we got past the 50% mark. Thank you. Let me see what this says right here. Give me a break. I drove down there on a whim to Osage County from Wichita when I'd never been there before, he said. I helped on 1990 census in Oklahoma, but the time frame doesn't match anything I did. Well, I mean, it sounds like they're putting together information that tells a different story, right there, Dennis? Hey, Jeff, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, thanks. Let me see. I don't know. I didn't check again. Oh yeah, thanks, Karen. Wow. And Miss Angels and well, that was nice of you. Thank you. She gave one a PayPal for Blue, Chloe, and Gray. So thank you. That was very nice. Been hanging around. Well, cool. Thank you, Peter. I got to know the genesis behind that one. Yeah. Okay. So that one was, now we're going to September 1976. And so this one says, deputies know Cynthia Kinney left the Osage laundromat June 23rd and got into an older model beige car with two women, but they don't have any motive for the kidnapping of the teenager. See, it's weird. So how are they linking this to Dennis Rader? Anybody know? I mean, other than that they found some stuff recently, but why would they? I mean, did he know people? Like, hey, get, you know, I can't imagine him abducting somebody with two witnesses, unless those other two people aren't alive either. I mean, that would be sort of interesting if he said, hey, let's all party. Ask if that girl wants to go. Yeah. Or, hey, listen, can you guys help me out? I'm that girl's uncle. Can you run in there and tell her something's really, you know, and then I don't know. And it's kind of a departure from what you hear about him. Miss Kinney, who was to have been a high school cheerleader this year, worked at the laundromat for her uncle. The witness told authorities she left the laundromat June 23rd and got into a 1965 faded beige Plymouth with two women. Did he own a faded Plymouth beige? By the way, my nickname in college was Beige. At Western Oregon, my first year, this guy said, I said, yeah, my name is Gray, you know, kind of a nothing color, you know, it's not even a color, it's more of a hue. Get it? Gray hues. And then he said, hey, we'll just call you Beige, because beige is kind of similar, it's sort of, yeah. Hey, Beige, what's going on? Yeah. So I guess I respond to Beige as well. The family has not been contacted since the kidnapping. We feel there was an abduction, said Bill Mitchell, who was investigating the kidnapping for the Osage County Sheriff's Department, but we have no direct lead. We don't have anything to base a motive on, he said. There's a lot of confusion in this case. Mitchell said 3 persons were in the laundromat at the time Miss Kinney was abducted. He said authorities have prepared a composite drawing of a man and are working on composite drawings of the two women believed to have left the laundromat with Miss Kinney. He said those drawings should be complete next week. Mitchell said a witness who was working at a bank across the street, let's see if that exists here, as a verification mark. If that's a bank, we know we got the right one, right? I mean, if it's not a bank, we don't have any idea. That looks like a bank. And there's an ATM. Can I get a boom? Yeah. So now we know that that's the right laundromat for damn sure. Yeah. That's what I love about marrying up Google Earth and like old newspaper articles. It's just kind of has like a cool feeling to it, especially when you just verify stuff left and right. Yeah, like just like right there. Mitchell said a witness who was working at a bank across the street provided the description used for the drawings. Mitchell said a witness who was working at a bank across the street provided the description used for the drawings. He said he has done a complete background check on Miss Kinney back to the time she was 10 years old, a 10-year-old child living in a town called Liberal, Kansas, and has been unable to turn up anything to help the investigation. He said he plans to compare the Pawhuska kidnapping to a similar abduction in Kansas City, Missouri, to see if there is any connection. Should we try to find that one? Like woman abducted from, I bet it's maybe a laundromat even. And then do like 1970 to 1975 in Missouri. As a infant. What's this one? Carol Blade's body is found. A grove of cedars on Stone County Farm near Ponce de Leon, only 20 miles from where she was last seen, has yielded the remains of Miss Carol Blades of Nixa. The grisly find was made about noon yesterday by a farmer who chanced upon the body while looking for livestock. The young woman's body was positively identified later in the day by her husband and other members of the family. Stone County Sheriff and Acting Coroner Richard Barnes said last night. Sheriff Barnes also said comparison with dental records had been completed. Let's see. There were no... What does it say right here? The sheriff noted Miss Blades disappeared from a laundromat in Nixa on December 15, 1969. I bet you that's not the one that they were talking about. Anyways, let's see it. How about just get rid of that? Infant. So 1970, Miss Blades again. And where was it again? It was in Liberal, Kansas. He said he plans to compare in Kansas City, Missouri. Let's try that. Abducted by a... Whoa! What's going on, Caligal 3? Jesus, thank you. What's this one? Kansas City. A 30-year-old Holith woman was raped at her home yesterday after she was abducted while on a shopping trip there. Crazy. Very kind, very kind. Thank you, guys.
Hey, yo.
American lady. Look at that. We're almost at the goal now. That was amazing.
Chewbacca? I'll do Chewbacca if you want.
Hey, Allah, hey, Allah, oh, yeah. What's this one? Shelly Ann was... Is this in Kansas City? Let me go to page 1. Oh, wow, this is... Kidnapped girl released safe. Is that the same story? What's this one? Jeez. Sounds like there's some crazy stories going on there in Kansas City. Well, thanks, American lady, for both of those. And look at that. Boom, just over the goal. Goal! Tiempo en goal, son las 2:30. Well, thanks, Ashley Hansen and Misty Estes Realtor. That's a pretty specific name there, Misty Estes Realtor. Let me guess, you're a realtor. I know, I'm using my amazing sleuthing ability, but I have a feeling.
Wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Yeah. Could see what? Lex. You wish Zozo could see what? What do you mean? I don't get it. His daughter said her dad was offered immunity for the confession of killing Cynthia. What do you mean update tonight at 10? What do you mean? I don't get it. Why do you want her to see that? She's been here a million times, Lex. Yeah. What does Koberger ruling have to do with what we're talking about? I don't know. What was the ruling? No, I didn't. I've been busy. I mean, was she upset about it yesterday or something? Lex, or I don't get it. I'm confused. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't terrible last night or the night before. Just the slowness of it. Yeah. I didn't see the Koberger ruling. I guess I have to type it in. I knew it. I knew it, you guys. How often didn't I tell you this? Look at the capital murder trial for Brian Koberger, the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students last fall, will be delayed indefinitely. Do you know how long that is, you guys? It's gonna be 4 years from now. It's going to take absolutely forever. But man, it gives 4 more years of content where we can come up with all kinds of crazy theories. Yes, there were goblins living inside Brian Koberger's bushy eyebrows that jumped out, and they're the actual killers. He was just walking around inside the house when these massive goblins jumped out of his bushy eyebrows. Yes, he did walk with a hunchback because the goblins weighed so much when his head was bent forward. But my God, he had nothing to do with it. I think what you'll find out later is that the goblins, the DNA of goblins And we can cover that then for the next 6 weeks. We'll talk about each of the goblins. Say the goblins have families too. We can go look into them. I'll dress up as a clown. We can do all kinds of really interesting stuff. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so this trial is not going to happen for a very, very, very long time now. What do you mean my court TV thing? What does that mean? No, I can't play that. You mean the thing that I was on? I don't even want to play it. I felt stupid when I was like, yeah, I can't remember her name. About Shanna, even though it's in my front of my face where I put notes for me to look at. I'm looking at it, but my eye didn't see it. It was weird. Then right after the show, I go, it's right there. Look, great, it's right there. I don't have all their names memorized in that one. I think I almost do now, but yeah, that's right. I didn't dress up as a clown. There is a YouTuber that does dress up as an actual clown, and people take them seriously in the true crime community. How is that a real thing? Can anybody explain that to me? Yeah, well, I think he knows that he's screwed. See, the fact that he switched it away, he gave away his right to a speedy trial, means that he knows he's toast, that they have got him dead to rights. So he's going to give up on that, and they're going to do delay after delay after delay after delay, and it's just going to keep going on and on and on because jail's better than prison. Yeah. That's it, man. It's going to be exactly like Chase Merritt or a host of other cases. I'll be shocked out of my mind if Richard Allen goes to trial this next year. I think it'd probably be the year after that. There's just so much evidence, too much stuff going on. Yeah, he'll do something like Koberger at some point will say, you know what, I want to represent myself. And then we'll go a year into that. He'll ask for discoveries and all these things and be reading it. And then he'll say, you know what, I decided I want an attorney, right? Then he'll get another attorney, and they'll go, yeah, we're just not working out. I mean, you need a new attorney, and it might take him a year or so to get caught up on the hundreds of thousands of pages of documents here, and that's how it goes, man. It's just, that's why I wanted to say that the other day, that there's almost no chance that this trial is going to happen in October, even though it was still on. But you just, man, I mean, if you've been on this channel or following the channel for any length of time, you'd see so many times where they just get extended out forever. Well, I don't know if he's Bundy, but I think he liked Bundy, and I made a whole video on how I think that it's possible. I mean, Koberger went from Pennsylvania to Washington. That's exactly what Ted Bundy did. But Bundy went from Washington and then eventually ended up in Florida, where he killed basically off-campus sorority girls. And so then Koberger goes to an off-campus sorority house and kills 3 women and 1 guy who wasn't supposed to be there. And it could have been the start of what he was going to be doing, but it just didn't pan out for him. Like, for example, if he wasn't so stupid to drive around his white Elantra, I mean, I was just reading it again today. He says, yeah, I was definitely out driving around on the November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th. I'm just not admitting to where I was driving the vehicle. Well, I can tell you where you were driving the vehicle. You were driving it right around 1122 King Road over and over again. You did 4 laps like Mario Andretti, for God's sakes. Yeah. Who's Mario Andretti, Gray? Well, he used to be a I don't know if you call it, I think it was a NASCAR racer maybe. Or maybe he was more into like Formula One. I can't remember now. But it was a long time ago. I think they should have actually not executed Bundy. And not because he didn't deserve to be. I just think he was like this wealth of information. There's probably even more victims they could have helped out on. You know, like he killed so many more people than he's given credit for. I think there's a ton of people out there. You know, it's sort of weird. I almost feel like in some ways these serial killers shouldn't be executed. You know, specific ones, the real serial killers. You know how there's I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do. Even though people are called serial killers in some instances, I don't really feel like that on some. Like, let's say there's somebody that breaks into homes and he doesn't want to be identified, so kills the person, and then he escapes and, you know, goes on and does something else. I know those are still serial killers because they killed unrelated people and there's more than 3. But let's say there was a guy that robbed homes and he goes in there and he kills a person, and then he goes in another house sometime and kills the occupant, but he just steals stuff. See, for me, that's more like killing out of necessity to get away with the crime, and I don't have the same. I wish it almost feels like serial killers should be called that because of a psychological need, like a desire to kill for pleasure of some sort. You know what I mean? Because it feels different when you have a case like that, or when you have something like BTK. He went in there and he actually derived pleasure from killing people and the way that he did it. He got a psychological thrill for it. And so that's why I think, I mean, the term serial killer just means more than 3, more than 2, and they didn't know each other. But I don't know, man. I think they need to sort of revamp that a little bit, and you know, have some other, you know, it's not even, but those aren't spree killings either. I mean, it could be over a 10-year period. Somebody's robbing homes, and while he's in the home, he gets, somebody's there and he kills them so they can't identify him. I think that's totally different. It's similar too, like a hitman for the mob or something. Do you call them serial killers? No, not really. I mean, they're just sort of they're just killing because that's what they're paid to do or something. I mean, I don't know. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I think there's a big difference. It's a hard thing to articulate perfectly, but I think just the way to say it is, even though they've fulfilled the requirements of the number of kills, the motive for killing isn't in the serial killer realm, although I don't know if that is a requirement in there. Okay. And Kohberger's would be a mass killing almost, or a spree kill, not really a spree killing, more of a mass killing. You know, now if he did it 2 or 3 more times, then he'd be considered a serial killer. But I always look at people too as serial killer types. You know, people don't agree with that. You don't have a clue, Gray. You don't have a clue. You don't have a... You know, but you look at a case like April Tinsley, right, where she was just this... She's one of the few cases when I think of her face that I get emotional. Because she was just the... You could tell, like, this spunky little happy kid that John Miller, a psycho pedophile, abducted right off the street, sexually assaulted her absolutely viciously with objects and shit. Then he killed her, put a shoe in a different spot, and then he taunted police for years. And that's what serial killers do, right? But apparently he never killed anybody else, because he, as soon as they arrested him, they go, yeah, April. As soon as they, you know how we're here, John? April Tinsley. So, yeah, because that's the only one he did. So he's not technically a serial killer, but he is a serial killer type, right? Yeah, you think that makes... Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. I don't know, Peter. Yeah. Everybody wants Kohberger to have all these other killings. He may have killed somebody in preparation or something, but I don't know. I almost feel like this is it. Like, but it does make you wonder, because some of these, you would think he would want to know what it takes to kill before he went in there, and so maybe he did it on some random person somewhere that we're not aware of. You know, maybe even a homeless person that was stabbed to death with a K-bar knife, and just seemed totally random, and nobody has a clue who did it, and maybe he would do that. Like the homeless person was an animal to Kohberger that he's experimenting with. What are you talking about, Cameron? No idea what you're referring to. Yeah, we weren't having a conversation, so you got to actually type in a full sentence so I know what you're referring to. Because I don't see your comment prior to that either. Right, exactly. You know, he took the classes. Yeah, he was really like, oh, I'm a killer, man. Well, watch this. And I think it's very possible, everybody, even if you don't want to agree, that the K-bar knife was left there intentionally. That was going to be his signature, and he was going to buy them on Amazon. Nobody would be able to tell. He probably he thought they were wiped clean with no. Because don't you find it interesting, everybody? Think about this for a second. Think about this for a second with Kohberger and the K-bar knife. What is it about the K-bar knife sheath that is kind of weird anyways, right? Here's what it is. Here's why I don't think it was left there accidentally. I think it was left there on purpose, because there's no other DNA or fingerprints or of any kind on the knife sheath, except a little tiny bit they got underneath the button. So that means he cleaned it off. He made sure. He wiped it clean. He didn't touch it with various things. Like he didn't touch it with, his bare hands. He was using gloves to handle the knife sheath, or he wiped it totally clean. Because when he bought it, wouldn't he have just grabbed it with his hand? But how come there was no other DNA other than the bottom of the snap, right? And that's because he was going to leave it there. He made sure it was clean. Because why? Let me ask you this. So answer this question. Why would you clean off the knife sheath if you meant to take it with you? Like before you got there. Why was it like pristine if you meant to take it with you? Well, he was just prepared, Gray. If he thought maybe he'd lose it, he'd make sure. No, come on. That's not. Nobody thinks like that. So think about that for a minute. Think about that. Why was the knife sheath completely clean, other than a tiny little bit of DNA underneath the button that he missed? And they find the knife sheath underneath a quilt, right? So how would that have happened technically? I think he put it there. And that's why I think he even commented about it while he was that other character on Facebook. And I think that was going to be his calling card. I think he was going to be called the... well, look at it. It sort of sounds like his name, right? Like later on, it would be Kohberger, the K-bar killer. I mean, it's just like a perfect freaking... So first it would be the K-bar killer, right? And he probably wanted to make it sort of analogous to his name, but reverse, right? Like KB instead of BK, right? You get what I'm saying? What? What does that mean? Right, remember him, the Papa did? So what do you guys think about that? What I just said, did that make any of you that didn't think it was left intentionally go, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. Because there is no other deed. So let me ask you this. He bought it on Amazon, right? The knife sheath gets there and he takes it out of the mail with gloves on? Really? Is that what we're going to... And if he did do that, then that means he meant to leave it there. Or why was... I mean, you got to admit, there is absolutely nothing on there except a little tiny bit underneath the button that he missed. That's something you'd be grabbing with your hand, putting the knife in, and all that stuff. I mean, it's such a simple thought to think about, and yet I haven't heard anybody talking about that anywhere. You know, like just now, I've brought this up. I think it was left there intentionally. But that little way of wording it right there, just that simple thought of how come it makes you think that, wow, that really could be a strong possibility that it was left there intentionally. Yeah, I've been saying that since the beginning. Everybody goes, no way, Gray, no way. It was like, he left it there accidentally. And then they go, that's why he went back at 9. Okay, well, I mean, Kohberger might not be a genius, but would he really go back at 9 and go into the house when at 9 everybody's getting up and there's dead bodies all over the place? Hey, don't mind me, everybody. I'm just looking for my knife sheath. No, I guarantee it that he went back there to look for just to watch. Oh, look at that. Ooh, there's people, and to see his handiwork in action. And he probably just drove on Walenta Drive, drove right by, looked down there, didn't see anything. He was a little bit perplexed. Then he heard about it later in the day. He might have even, I mean, who knows, when he went back down to, into, where was that? I can't remember the name of the town. Clarkston, Washington, or Idaho, whatever the hell it was. He might have driven by again on that trip. Now, we don't know exactly where his phone is, but he might have his phone completely turned off, and then he drove on Walenta Drive, and then I guess he would have been on cameras again. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah, don't mind me, everybody. I'm just looking for the K-bar knife. Hey, officer, can you move aside? Yeah, that's it. Thank you. All right, see you guys later. All right, see you later, Mr. Kohberger. See you in class. And then later, whoa! Holy crap, man. This guy, he came in and he asked me if he could get the K-bar knife sheath off the bed. And I let him have it because he was a teacher. Come on, you guys. Come on. All right. Well, hey, thanks for having me look at that. That's not surprising whatsoever. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Just a really quick one. I think I'll be done with that. The video I've been working on? I think I'm going to be done with that one tonight on Kohberger. And then I'm going to make a video on... I think I'm going to make one on the K-bar knife. Now, if you see the same exact topic come out before I put it out there, that means you're going to know specifically that somebody was watching the show and just made it, because nobody's talked about that precise angle. I mean, it would be really short. It would be like a 5-minute video at the most, if that. I mean, I don't even know how to, I guess I could sort of find the documents that mentioned it and things like that. But, And they should think differently, to be honest with you. You'll definitely, there's a couple of YouTubers out there that like to copy shit that I do. Thanks, Just Junie. Now this is more on Cynthia. Let me get through this Cynthia Kinney thing, and then we'll go. Then we'll get back to that. Yeah, just a really small little bit of DNA on the underside of the button, the snap. That's the only place they found touch DNA on that sheath. And because of that, you have to think, wow, well, what was he doing prior? Well, I mean, how come it's like that? I don't know what you're talking about. Another old GHI freak. I just explained it to you. Anyways, Oklahoma lawman seek missing girl. Hey, thanks, Eugenie. How's it going, Eugenie? Not Corvallis. Yeah, I don't think so. Another old So anyways, another old GHI freak. Just ask yourself this. Why was there no other DNA on the knife sheath at all, other than the little touch DNA? Why was he handling the knife sheath with such care to not leave DNA on it if he merely meant to take it back home with him? Can you answer that? And the answer is no, he can't. Anyways, deputies know Cynthia Kinney left the Osage laundromat June 23rd and got into an older model beige car with two women. They don't have any motive for the killing. We feel there was an abduction, said Bill Mitchell, who was investigating the kidnapping. But didn't BTK go into homes and like sort of break it? I mean, nothing in this sounds similar, although I'd have to go research some of his other killings to see. He said he's done a complete background. Yeah, that's exactly like the other article. Let's see. The next one. The investigation, so it says, new Cindy Kinney leads encouraging. Yeah. So it turns out these ones here, search continues for teenager. It's 2 years now since Cynthia Dawn Kinney has been leaving her family laundromat with, or since then, leaving the laundromat. The case is still open, but the sheriff's office has run out of leads to check. There's no longer an active search for the 16-year-old. We've exhausted all leads. But here's the thing, everybody. They're saying they've found connections to this case in BTK's case. So that's pretty weird. Yeah. I mean, maybe this was one of his earlier ones. Let's see. Hold on. So this is June. Yeah, it was June 23rd. And, oh yeah, by the way, let me show you this really quick. Look at this. So these are all the murder sites right here. And it's interesting too how they're sort of segmented by, cut off by the highway here. So you got two here, then there's like this cross in the highway there, one in that segment, this one in this one, this one, this one, this one. But check this out. Remember how this is the location they're digging here. Then I also showed you that he had an address listed here for himself. And here's one of the victims. Look at that crazy shit. Maureen Wallace Hedge, 1985, one of the later ones. Right in the middle there. I mean, that's when he was like, how come you freaks, you haven't caught me yet, for God's sakes, huh? So now he's like trying to be more brazen about it. And then he just gave, like in 2005, he was like, hey, I'll send you some discs, for God's sakes. Look, here's a 1 1/4, everybody. Man, I'm getting tired of this. Yeah. I don't know. Why does it matter, Cape Breton drum pilot? I mean, ADT security is, this is 1976. What would it matter? Oh yeah, okay. Please find me, please find me. Yeah, that's what it seems like. She had just been elected to be a cheerleader in the coming year at school. Yeah, so it was kind of weird because they had a situation where, and there she is again. Disappearance haunts outgoing prosecutor. So let's see if he has any more. This is 1978. Cynthia's father, let me read. Not sure why that popped in there like that. Cynthia's father, Don Kinney, had helped build the Hall family's new home. Oh, what are they referring to? One case from the hundreds he dealt with in 8 years will continue to haunt and frustrate District Attorney Bill Hall when he officially leaves office. It isn't the Bob Shotwell perjury case, which the Tulsa senator won in a highly publicized jury trial. It's the case of Cynthia Dawn Kinney, a cute 16-year-old Pawhuska High School cheerleader who vanished on the morning of June 23, 1976. At one moment she was working in the family laundromat, and the next moment she was seen leaving with two women in a 1965 or 1966 Plymouth. What about the guy, though? And that is where the case came to a dead end. There were no more clues, no more confirmed reports of her whereabouts, no more anything. Even a $10,000 reward by the family proved fruitless. The case became especially frustrating to Hall because the missing girl was a... I wonder if this is good for the podcast music. Seems like this is more of an article. Let's see, where is that shit? Ominous Dark Times. There we go, everybody. The podcast background music. It'll be good. Let's see. At one moment, she was working in the family laundromat. In the next moment, she was seen leaving with two women in a 1965 or 1966 Plymouth. And that is where the case came to a dead end. There were no more clues, no more confirmed reports of her whereabouts, no more anything. Even a $10,000 reward by the family proved fruitless. The case became especially frustrating to Hall because the missing girl was a close friend of his daughter, Marquita, who is now 19 and married. Cynthia's father, Don Kinney, had helped build the Hall family's new home. I knew Cindy, the 39-year-old prosecutor said. She was a very bright and attractive girl. Hall shuffled in his chair in what will be his new law office downtown, glanced at the almost bare walls, and shook his head as Blue coughs wildly in the background. Hey, it's okay, Blue, don't worry about it. We don't know any more now than we did 5 minutes after it happened. We can't tell you to this moment whether it was a kidnapping or a runaway. I think it was a kidnapping. Cindy wasn't the kind of girl who would run away. Let's see. Daddy admits it's only a knowledgeable hunch, a feeling. Anything beyond that is impossible to figure. Every lead has been followed up. The leads took investigators, primarily a relentless Bill Mitchell of the Osage County Sheriff's Office, to literally dozens of places in several states, including Florida, California, Texas, and Arizona. Bill Mitchell put in more hours than anyone, Hall said. I think he's one of the best investigators in Oklahoma. He continues to work on the case. This Christmas will mark the third one the Kinney family has endured without Cindy. Her father works for an oil supply firm. Her mother works part-time at J.C. Penney store here. Her mother played high school football for the first time last fall. Her brother, I mean. Her father, jeez. Let's see. I don't think they have shut off hope yet, but they have pretty well put their lives back together, Hall said. As for the Shotwell case, which began in January 1977, when the senator said he was kidnapped, robbed, beaten, and bound, Hall looks on it with no regrets. An album made by Shotwell entitled The Senator's Things. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the next one here. Where is the next one? And here's one from 1979 here. An anonymous caller gave police information on the disappearance 3 years ago of a 16-year-old Pawhuska girl, but the person has failed to call back, police said. The tipster contacted the Oklahoma City Crime Stoppers, a program to encourage tips on unsolved crimes, Detective Bob Rowell said. He or she was supposed to call back December 3rd, but did not, he said. Information by the caller was very helpful, and we think it might be the lead we've been looking for during these past 3 years. Cynthia Dawn Kinney disappeared from a Pawhuska laundromat June 23, 1976. Her family is offering a $10,000 cash reward for any information leading to her location. Crime Stoppers also offers reward money if the crime is solved, police said. And they did cover this quite a bit, even though it's just a missing person. An unidentified caller tip that a Pawhuska teenager missing since July 1976 was killed and hidden in a city residence has triggered a new investigation into the girl's disappearance, Osage County Chief Criminal Investigator Bill Mitchell said on Friday. This is the most promising lead that we've had in the investigation. The investigator said the man notified Oklahoma City Crime Stoppers program November 26th with the information, but Oklahoma City police did not connect the crime with the Pawhuska disappearance. Cynthia Dawn Kinney, then 16, was last seen in July 1976, leaving the Pawhuska laundromat with 2 or 3 unidentified persons. Oklahoma City police didn't know anything about it, Mitchell said, of the alleged kidnapping. The information the caller gave was vague, Mitchell said. He indicated a crime in Pawhuska. The caller said a 16-year-old girl was killed and concealed in a home in Pawhuska. Probably a psychic pretending to know something, said the criminal investigator who has handled the Kinney case since the girl's disappearance. The caller did not name Miss Kinney as the victim, Mitchell said. Police have begun investigating the house the caller sent them to, Mitchell said. The lead we received is promising. It's going to take a lot of background work and investigation to determine if the caller is correct. The law enforcement officer said the caller told police he was not involved in the alleged killing. The call apparently was unrelated to a $10,000 reward the girl's parents had posted for information about the incident, Mitchell said. Mitchell officially had ruled Kinney's case closed in July of 1978, the second anniversary of the disappearance after the investigation had taken him from California to Florida on false leads. Hey, thank you, Katya T. Well, so after that, it says, body hunt in basement pure hell for resident. It was a pure hell watching as sheriff deputies dug for 2 days in a basement here for the body of a teenage girl missing since 1976. It just knocked the air out of me, said Johnny Roebuck, 58, who added he is just glad it's all over. An anonymous caller telephoned the Crime Stopper program in Oklahoma City last month and told officials a teenage girl was buried in Roebuck's house. Authorities believe the caller was referring to Cynthia Dawn Kinney, a 16-year-old cheerleader who disappeared from a laundry more than 3 years ago. Osage County Sheriff George Wayman said Roebuck has official permission to dig in his basement and yard this week, but no trace of a body was found. Then, and so that Roebuck guy filed a federal lawsuit because they destroyed his basement, $106,000, and the lawsuit claims Roebuck's property was destroyed and his civil rights violated. Roebuck seeks $6,000 in actual damages and $100,000 in punitive. I don't know whatever happened to that, but anyways, that's pretty much it, man. So somehow Cynthia Dawn Kinney here, who was in a laundromat working for her aunt and uncle, was seen getting into a vehicle with 2 women and a man, and they've somehow connected that abduction scenario to... I mean, here's the thing, everybody. She could have actually gone with those people, but he abducted her somewhere else after she was dropped off or something. I mean, I don't know, but either way, it's a weird story that doesn't match his other killings. Well, thanks, Tammy. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So that case that we just went over there, intermingled with Kohberger and other stuff, is the one that they are saying that they've found items that seem to definitively link BTK to her. I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, that's crazy as hell. He says he didn't. He doesn't say he doesn't remember. He said he didn't.
Accidentally, so your theory makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Why else do they know? Well, that's the thing. They found evidence by digging there. Cape Breton drone. You gotta change that name, man. That takes too long. Let's see. CBDP. They were digging around in the backyard the last few days, or where he used to live, and there's a path there that they removed some cement. I don't know if that's where they found something, but they found items apparently of interest that appear to link BTK to her case, Cynthia's. It's all right. Yeah. They can make decent money doing drone pilot. I like the 3D thing. I want to get in where I can. I was watching where you go around with your drone and you drone and you film it, but then you also have to have this other software program that takes all the images and turns what you're filming into a 3D image. I mean, that would be freaking awesome. Anyways, this music's depressing me now, so you have to change it. Hey, Allah, hey, Allah, oh, mm-hmm. So, I guess that's the question to ask. What do you mean not that music? I don't get it. Cape Breton drone pilot. You ever do like search and rescue at all? I don't know what that means. Not that music. Hey, I'm a hey, warrior. Na, 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 na. Hey, I'm a... Is that your ringtone? Alright, so let me ask you something. I mean, I'm just going to keep talking about the knife sheath. Serial killers like to leave signatures. I mean, especially somebody like Kohberger who was wanting to do something. So what did he leave? There's been no suggestion of anything other than that left at the crime scene. And then, when you take a look at the knife sheath, and they say that they were able to get touch DNA off the underside of the buckle. Okay, that's great, but how come there wasn't DNA all over the knife sheath? Because when you order it on Amazon, you would get it, right? And you'd probably grab it and hold it for a few minutes and look at it and then put the knife in it and hold it again, and there'd be DNA all over that freaking knife sheath, okay? It would be caked in DNA. I mean, he touched DNA all over the place on that thing. And yet there was none. So what that suggests to me is that it was delivered to his house and he carefully grabbed it with gloves, and the knife itself. See, I don't know how he must have cleaned the knife off too and stuff. I wonder if they checked inside the sheath, literally swabbed in the inside where the knife goes. And by the way, was the knife sheath even used? You know what I mean? He knew he had the K-bar knife, so he had that just in his hand, right? So the sheath may have never even had the knife in it at any point. He was just going to leave it there as sort of a calling card. Yeah, I just said that, Daff. Yeah. Canine rescue, I can't imagine. Da-da-da. Yeah, that's a cool job to do that for the realtors. So cool, man. I think he left it there as a calling card, not to throw anybody off, because it doesn't throw him off because he used the K-bar knife. Yeah, I don't think it would have. I think that would be too. K-bar knives anybody can buy. I just think it was there. He was going to leave it there, and it was going to be called the K-bar killer. And he'd think it would be funny because he's BK and K-bar is I think it's spelled with a K and a B, right? Yeah, it's right there. So, I mean, who knows? So he was getting a little hint there, but nobody would have known. I think it's more likely, if he left it there intentionally, that it was done as a signature, not a something to throw somebody off. Because it doesn't do a good enough job at any of that. Nobody, as soon as they said K-bar, my first thought wasn't, oh my God, it must be an ex-military person. That never even crossed my mind. You like it? Which one? That it's a signature? Yeah. I think I should just make a video. After I do the show tonight, just do one. Maybe it's only 5 minutes long, and get people to answer what they think. Except most are going to... See, here's how it works, though, you guys. It's going to be... People have always said it was accidentally left there. So they're going to find a way to make it accidentally left there. Let's see. Yeah. So, but the counter is how come there's no DNA on that sucker? That's the golden... It was like an eagle... What was it on there? Globe and eagle or something? Well, guess what? KM Bear 1. Had he not had a tiny fraction of DNA on the bottom of that buckle, he might not even be arrested right now. We wouldn't even, the only thing they would have is his vehicle. if he left any eyebrows. Really good chance of that. You know, he probably, I wouldn't doubt it at all if he actually hang glided into the area with the bushy eyebrows. He just floated into the scene. So maybe some of those flew off while they... Yeah, but serial killers often have similar things that they do, leaving signature, especially a guy that's studying them. He would have thought, wow, what would my signature be? I know. I'll order this sheath on Amazon, and there's no way that would ever attract to me, because there's no signature, there's no like serial number inside the sheath itself. Be over thought it. What does that mean? Anyone who thinks they could commit a crime and not get caught is just foolish. Well, there's people that have done it without getting caught. But I think it's just the way it's, yeah. It's weird how stupid a lot of these criminals are. I mean, Kohberger's driving around in his own vehicle with his phone, and it's on the night, pinging in 2 different cities, one before the murders and one after it's leaving. I mean, it's just so dumb. He should have, if he'd never turned that phone on at all that night, all he'd have is a white Elantra on cameras in 2 locations, which is still pretty damning. But one of the key pieces of information for me is that the camera that pings south of Moscow, Idaho, the phone that pinged, it was like 25 minutes after the murders. There's no reason that you could, I mean, the odds of that just being him randomly driving around and not him leaving the crime scene are almost 0. And we're talking about 4:20 something, you know, what was it, 4:47 in the morning, when he had just left the general area at 4:25. Sleuthy. That's not the right word. Let's see. Too many coincidences to not be him. Would there have been a possible DNA from the factory shipping? No. Brian Kohberger didn't work at the factory. So, I mean, you know, it's sort of interesting. It's like, did he absolutely clean the entire sheath? You know, so somebody at Amazon, when it's packaged, maybe it comes off of a, I would imagine something like that probably comes off of a, you know, it's manufactured on a machine, and then it gets wrapped up, put in a package, and shipped off. Well, we don't know, Cindy. Yeah, we don't know how it's made, so the only way to answer that is to know how it's actually created. I know. Maybe he worked at the factory too. So he just got, wow, we didn't think about that. Maybe he knew he was getting fired, so he took a job at a K-bar knife factory, and lo and behold, one of the ones he worked on ended up killing somebody. And it was just so amazing because the guy that killed that using the K-bar knife sheath, who isn't him, but it was just that it happened to be he worked there, that person drove the same type of vehicle that Kohberger did. Incredible, even missing the front license plate. It's absolutely phenomenally bad luck for Brian Kohberger. If he just hadn't worked at that factory, and if the killer just didn't happen to borrow his phone. Okay, here it is. Brian Kohberger was working at the K-bar knife factory. He touched a knife sheath. That knife sheath ended up at a murder scene. The bad luck that Kohberger had was that he happened to be driving around that late at night just south of town. And then there was a white launcher at the murder scene that sat there during the murders that looked exactly like his, missing the front license plate. It was almost unbelievable, everybody. I know what you're talking about, American lady. I already know. People at the factory could have touched it. They didn't find anything on it. However, we don't know how they're manufactured, as I've explained 10 times. If it's automatically made, the leather's put in and it moves around and cuts it, folds it up, does this, this, and this, and this, packages it up and sends it, there wouldn't be anybody's DNA on it. Right? So the only DNA that they found on it was the Kohberger's DNA on the button of the knife sheath. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Yeah, so I already understood what you were saying. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I get that part. That's why I was explaining that it depends on if anybody ever had to touch the leather physically. Huh. Right, there's so many easy ways that these idiots, they just don't do it. Well, although the borrowing the car part might not work, because they'd see the car, and if somehow it was identified, they'd get a hold of the car owner and say, did you loan your car to anybody? Yeah, I loaned it to Brian Kohberger over there. You know, the guy that was taught by a serial killer. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what if that too? What if Brian Kohberger is part of a sextuplets and there's 6 of them running around out there, and that explains it. They all went to the same college. In fact, they pulled a ruse in the program that they were in, and the professor, there was a mean Kohberger who fought with the professors, and that's why I ended up losing the internship there. But the other one was really nice all the time. You know, and so the thing is, that night, they all liked white Elantras too, so they were all driving around in different places. See what I'm saying? That's exactly right. You're onto something there. 8675309. That's amazing. Yeah, Orphan Black. I like that show. Got kind of weird after a while, trying to incorporate every single group of people that there is, like almost like gratuitously. I lent in my car at midnight to stalk some students at a nearby college, but you don't poop where you learn. Yeah, she's pretty good. I haven't seen her since then. I think there was a case where the DNA on someone's underwear, yeah, that was the Jean-Benet Ramsey one. But hey, American lady, I think we're going to have to go do some research and ask, how about this? You do it. You call up the K-Bar knife manufacturing company and say, is it all automated? Is there ever a point where a human touches the leather that's made in the factory? And if they do touch it, after they touch it, is there a process that would effectively wipe out all the DNA? Perhaps like curing the leather or something at some point. And does a human ever touch the knife physically again after that? You got a project, American lady. I expect a full report tomorrow. Would be kind of interesting to know, though, right? Because if people do touch it, then why wasn't there any more DNA? That means he really spent even more time. Now, you didn't find it, Cindy. We'll have to look it up, okay? Yeah, let's see. Someone had to touch it to ship it. Well, how do you know they had to touch the actual leather to ship it? If it's in a package, he just grabs it and puts it in the package. Yeah. So I think there's ones that people make, and then there's other ones. No, you don't get a boom. Yeah, but there's ones that actually have the eagle on it. No, you don't get one, Cindy. You never get a boom. You're boomless. Yeah, you don't. There's no boom for Cindy. There's too many times where it's been anti-boom that you just don't get one. You'll have to have like 100 in a row where it's something important. Lisa Valenzuela, I like Cindy. Here's a boom for you. American lady, here's some booms. Oh, here's some too. Let's see. Yeah, that's the eagle one. Yeah, so what, Lisa? Nobody asked you. Let's see. You need scissors to open a package of new scissors. Yeah, have you ever seen, like, when they package batteries? How come they don't make, like, businesses' doors out of the same packaging? I mean, nobody could get into those. Have you ever tried to get a battery out of these freaking packages? Or if you buy, what is it? Like, I don't know, man. The packaging in there is so difficult. Yeah, see, there's people that make K-bar knife sheaths, but I want to know what the ones sold on Amazon are. Here, let me type it in. Factory. I would imagine on Amazon they're not handmade. Factory made K-bar knife sheath. Let's see what I find there. K-bar factory sheaths. Not sure what that means. K-bar manufactured in USA. Blade intended for... Okay. I think some are handmade and some aren't. Oh, those are Amish made. Doesn't that seem a little weird? That some K-bar knife sheaths are made by the Amish that literally are about as far away as from combat as you could possibly imagine. No, you don't know that, Cindy. You don't know that. Yeah. I'll check tomorrow. How about that? I'll give him a call. I'm not going to check my email. I'm going to go look it up myself. Thanks, Cindy. I know it's your biggest... Like, oh my God! I found out that K-bar knife sheaths are made... They're made by hand, everybody! Here, all I can say is that I don't really care, to be honest with you. What I know is this, is when Kohberger got his knife sheath, he would have grabbed it with his bare hands unless he intentionally didn't want his DNA on the knife sheath. Right? That's what matters. Not, oh, did somebody else touch it at a factory somewhere? Well, you're very rarely ever right, Cindy, so it's hard to take it. Right. Let's see. I'm sure they actually handcrafted with genuine leather because it's written on the package. Huh? Where does it say that? Where does it say that, Rainbow Line? It won't even bother me if it is handmade somewhere. I just don't care. You know what I mean? You know. So. Oh, well, it's hard to tell where sarcasm is, Ramble On. Hey, Cindy, I think you should make a video on it. Hey, everybody, I found out that K-bar knives are made. Glad I could make some of the show. Hey, cool. Timothy Cecil. Maybe the later shows are better, right? No, I'm not being mean at all, Cindy. It's like you're so enthusiastic. You're like, can I get a boom because it says it on the... I guess that's what it is. It's just, whew, wow. Yeah, I did keep the Cindy 2-inch. They showed up today and I said, hey, you know what? You don't need to get it. You probably are happy because it weighs like 200 and something pounds. I thought there was unknown DNA also on it. No, remember they said that there was 4 other types? I don't know if they were saying that there was more DNA on the knife, but yeah, maybe there was. That'd be cool. Good find, Cindy. Good find. Okay. I'll give you credit for it. Good find, Cindy. I mean, even a broken clock's right twice a day. You know what I mean? Well, I hope it's not that hard to put together. I'm going to have to take it apart. No, there's no boom. That's just looking something up on the internet, like really quick. It's not finding, it's just... never mind, YBA sick. I don't know what YBA sick means. Thanks for the booms, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. I can't. I can't say anything really mean. I don't even understand your last comment. No, F that. Never mind. Why be a sick? What? Just say, hey, Gray, I looked it up. It's like this. Not boom! God. That's like, yeah, you looked up on the internet. Good for you. Yeah, why be a sick? Nobody knows what that even means, Cindy. Yeah. Whew. Wow. I have to rewatch the beginning of the show if Gray mentioned a possible Dennis Rader. Yeah, we went over the whole... I've picked it up. No, I haven't. I can't read it. I can't see any of your comments. Why be a sick? It was never corrected. Oh, maybe I don't have it on. No, I have it on live chat. Yeah. It's BK19? No way, dude. That even exists? Well, there's also 1941. I'll tell you if this is the right one of these. How do we know that? I don't see it. Yeah, there's no correction in there, Cindy. There isn't. Nobody can see it. Look at American Lady. You deserve it, Cindy. Oh, it was such a great find. You found it on the internet. They probably would have found the plastic blister and spit it out like a pill. Huh? For a knife, you think it's handmade. You think it's handmade? Seems cheap. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see it. Let's see if we can find it. We're going to get, I'm going to pull up Cindy's link. Landline to call what? Okay, so the knife is made. Experience, like, see, here's the thing. There's K-bar knives, and then there's sheaths, right? That's where the difference is. So it says, unique process of making K-bar knife combines the talent of experienced craft people, expertise of knife enthusiasts, detailed finishing, and rigorous inspection of testing. Here are just a few of the steps it takes to make knives in our world. Yeah, the knives, right? We're talking about the sheaths. So, yeah, send me another email, Cindy, about the sheath. Right, it says about, no, there's actually leather on the handle of the knife. Got me thinking, thus he must have cleaned it. Yeah, well, even if there's three, here's the thing you got to look at. So even if they found 3 other samples of DNA on the, jealous, Jesus. I don't have time to get on the internet while I'm doing the show, American Lady. It's really simple to find stuff like that. So let's see, when, so even if the knife sheath was found and it has other samples of DNA on it, let's say there's three more samples of DNA, how come his DNA isn't all over that knife sheath? Right? So let's say there's other people touched it in the factory or whatever. Why isn't his on there? Yeah, but it'd be cow DNA. It's got a eagle globe or something like that. Yeah, eagle globe anchor. Yeah, eagle globe anchor. Yeah, so there's leather on the actual handle. I guess we're gonna have to call on that one. Yeah, eagle globe and anchor. Maybe the unidentified DNA in the house is on the sheath. Well, that's what they say, but if it is, it doesn't matter, right? Well, it's too late to dial them up, Cindy. Why don't you do it? You think they're still open? Yeah, so it says on here, the knife comes with a quality brown leather sheath embossed with the USMC Marine Eagle Globe and Anchor logo and the K-Bar brand name. It's a heavy-duty stitched and riveted, maintaining long-lasting durability. It doesn't say, I mean, because you can order the sheath separately online. And it's something that it's just not really vital to know about. The key is how come Kohberger's only got a little tiny bit of touch DNA on the bottom, or like underneath the clasp? That's where the issue is. When he himself would have got the knife, pulled it out and looked at it, held it with his bare hands, and there should be his DNA all over it. The thing is I think he got the knife sheath. He probably used gloves to pull it out of the Amazon packaging, and then after he pulled it out of he just kind of kept it isolated, and then he was just going to leave it at the crime scene to give a hint of, yeah, I used the K-bar knife in the killing. Here it is. I'm going to be the K-bar killer. And when I ever get arrested, I'll be called Kohberger the K-bar killer. I bet you that's even written somewhere. Like he... Yeah, I know you're agreeing, Cindy. I'm just saying it's not really a boom moment. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Just look up K-bar sheath. Made in different places, including Mexico. Yeah. Right. But are they handmade? The sheaths? With the eagle globe? Do you think he brought the K-bar in outside of the sheath? I think he popped the snap open at the scene and left the DNA on the way. No, because I don't think so at all. Why would, if he popped it open, there'd be more DNA all over the sheath. It's not like he just went ooh with his fingers and pulled it open. I think at one point when he was handling, I don't know. I don't know why there's a little tiny bit on there. If it came out of the packaging and he grabbed it with gloves, there wouldn't even be any on the clasp. So I'm sort of wondering if he did handle it and then he took time to clean it all off, just forgetting about one little spot. Although you could say if there's a... hey, Cindy, I get it, Cindy. So now you're just acting weird, okay? You didn't have a point. You just said you found... Hey, it was manufactured! Okay? I'm just telling you it doesn't matter to me, okay? Let's see. It's very strange that he wiped it down and left it behind. I think you're right, Gray. He wiped it down but missed something. Okay, well, just a little tiny bit on the clasp. Yeah. So if you look at this is one right here, right? That's the Eagle Globe anchor thing. So this is what it looks like. You don't think when you get that you're going to grab it, and touch it, and hold it? And then right here, there's the button there, and it was on the underside of the button. That's crazy. So how come there's none on all this other stuff here? Yeah. Well, it looks tiny on the screen, but it's not really tiny. Okay. I mean, it's tiny on the screen. Yeah. Hey, Cindy, this is for you, for finding that they manufacture the blade in a factory. Here we go. Oh, darn it, I lost the... there's no more connection. I guess I can't do it. Maybe I'll try to open that again. Let's see. Now that that's closed, we're opening it up. No, you got to get all the accolades, all the booms you can get, Cindy. You've been so pumped. Let me get some more booms for you. Hold on. Yeah, Daryl gave you a boom. Everybody put in booms. The Cindy booms. There you go. Isn't that awesome, Cindy? You got your booms. Nah, I don't need a boom. I get booms when I find something that was hard to find. Okay, here we go. Yeah. You guys are funny. No, I wasn't being mean at all, Katya T. I believe everything I was saying. I think Ray needs jail time for being mean. I don't think so. It's too late now. There'd be no reason to bail me out and I'd be stuck in prison. But I've never seen somebody so enthusiastic about finding a web page. That's just right there if you type it in. Yeah, you like the podcast music, right? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, let's see. Sure, Lisa. Yeah. When you find something really, earth-shattering, a boom is absolutely, or something like, wow, a couple pieces put together. Not a. Let's see. Yeah, it's too late to put me in jail. And then I think also Iris Rainbow said the same thing. Yeah, you guys are the ones that need to be put in prison. Okay. Not me. I was an absolute angel tonight. I think you know it. They found that sheath partially under Maddie's body. No, it was underneath like a quilt. Yeah, I mean, I think he tucked it under there and hid it, so it'd be found in the investigation, not too early. Right, that's what I was saying. It feels like a boom needs to be something really, like, oh, there we go. Like when you find a location or you connect a case to something else, not, hey, here's a link. I think it does. I think you're right, Ashley Hansen. It's sort of like... Well, let's just see. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow, Cindy? I don't know if I can. So I was actually going to take my stepkids fishing, but I am going to play the trial again. That's their only day off. They're off at the same time. I don't know, Iris. He bought it on Amazon, okay? I really doubt that people go on Amazon and try to buy a used K-bar knife sheath. Yeah, I think it's just a suicide there, Zozo. Yeah. They can't find anything nefarious. Fishing is fun. hidden rivet. Earth-shattering information, everybody. There's a hidden rivet. Hold on. Tonight, on Grant Hughes Investigates, special guest Cindy J comes on and discusses the hidden rivet on the K-bar knife sheath. The crazy things you'll find out about that hidden rivet on that K-bar knife sheath. Oh yeah. Tonight, Cindy J, for the second time in 3 nights, will discuss the hidden rivet. Could the hidden rivet contain the DNA that Brian Koberger forgot to wash off? We just don't know.
Hey, Cindy. Hey, Cindy, what's up, man? I love this music. Boom! Boom, Cindy! Yeah! Boom! Can I get a boom? Boom! Boom! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah. Now, Cindy, she's gonna find a rivet on the K-bar knife, yeah.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, well, Cindy's like my annoying. Like if I had a sister that was annoying or something. Yeah, I mean, I like Cindy. Obviously, we always go back and forth and shit. But she's got to do a little bit higher level something to get a boom than just a link. Like. All right, so we need something a little higher level for me to give you the authentic boom. All right. Yeah. Let's see. This has gone too far. Enough boom, y'all. Well, I'm done anyways. I don't have any more to talk about. But yeah, I think if we critically look at the knife sheath, whether we think it fell off accidentally or not, you can't ignore the fact that there was no DNA of Koberger found on that knife other than underneath the button, which doesn't make any sense if he was just wearing it as a utility to hold the knife. He wouldn't have cared that he touched it because he was going to be taking it with him. But it has this tiny amount. So I think what that says, and I haven't heard any experts on TV mention that. I've seen experts say that they think it could be a signature. I've been saying that too. But tonight I think it just sort of popped into my head, the correlation with there's no DNA on it whatsoever other than the tiny little button. And therefore he was trying to keep his DNA off of it, knowing that DNA is a big piece of information nowadays, and I think he was going to leave it there. He just didn't realize there was this little tiny bit. Right. Yeah, he just missed a little bit. So it's more likely that he just wiped it down and tried to get all the DNA off of it. Now it'd be hard to wipe a sheath off because it's not this really. It is sort of a somewhat flat leather surface, but like on the inside it's kind of rough, so that'd be hard to clean that. So he might have never touched the inside. I don't have any more Cindy J songs. Anyways, tomorrow I expect Cindy to get on that phone and call the manufacturer, Rosie the Riveter. Yeah, does anyone besides me eat peanut butter and bread and butter pickles? I've had peanut butter and pickle. Those are pretty good. I do like that.
More Cindy J. Song.
Is it this one? That almost sounds like a... I don't know what this is. For some reason that one starts. I want it to start over again, but it doesn't. Sounds like the Bee Gees. Ah! Yeah. I don't know how anybody can sing at that high pitch. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if she left. There's no reason to leave. Man, Lex, you're always so focused in on sort of the emotional side of the show and trying to analyze where, ooh, hey, I want to, you know, just don't worry about it. Yeah, I like peanut butter and honey too. That's good. Yeah, you're always kind of trying to figure out stuff like that. It just is irrelevant to anything. My senior class song was "Staying Alive." Oh yeah, nice. Peanut butter and banana is good. Yeah, well, here's what's really good. Peanut butter, banana, and honey. Try that one. Get them all in one. And another thing that's good is like rye toast with thin layer of peanut butter and then cinnamon sugar on top of that. That's pretty good. Lingo streak? What's that? What's a lingo? Day Duolingo streak. What's that? Almost lost my 260-day Duolingo streak. Don't know what that means. Wow. It's called streak? My 260-day Duolingo streak. I don't know what that means. Is it an app or something, or what is it? But what do you mean a streak? Like, oh. When you say streak, why do they call it streak like that? I don't get it. Oh, God. Can somebody just explain it instead of just typing in sort of like cool buzzwords answers? Like, what is it? Okay, do you just learn like a word each day or what? Wow, how many of you got? Maybe I'll do it then. Maybe I could learn some Tagalog. I think I sound okay when my wife says, say this, I can say it, and they go, oh man, that's hilarious. Like she told me to say, what was that one I said? What? The word, the Filipino word that you had me learn for the kids.
Oh, I say paala.
Huh? What? What does that mean?
Goodbye?
No, that was more complicated than that.
Nasaan ka na?
Yeah, what was that again?
Where are you?
Say it again.
Nasaan ka na?
Nasaan ka na? Yeah. So her kid, let's see, what was it? I think it was, I can't remember if it was, which one it was. I think it was, they were here, right? And I said that. They're like, whoa, what? Yeah. So do you just learn, Cindy, like a word or something a day, or how does it work? Mahal kita. What does that mean?
I love you.
Oh, that's funny because I think in Chinese it's very similar to that. What do you call it? What do you say? Mahal kita. Mahal kita. Even you, Cindy. Even you. No, it's something very similar in Chinese. It's like, well, I can't remember. Let me see. No, I don't think it is. That one's whoa. There's something that sounds very similar to that, though. You know what's weird about Tagalog? I think it's Chinese and Spanish mixed. With some English tossed in there. A map with the units. You do a whole lessons, as many as you want, but you have to do one to keep your streak. Well, what happens if you don't keep your streak going? What happens? So do you guys all use this app or something? Yeah. I mean, I've never even heard of the damn thing. I guess I don't have that extra time. I'm always looking up stuff for the show, you know. You have to start over, go back to 1. That's lame if you already know it, the other ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, there's... English is crazy with all these different words. Like, you know... Bear, bear, deer, deer. What's it called again? Duo something? Oh, she speaks Tagalog. That's why it was Filipino. I'm sure they have that one. Duolingo. Is it free? I think it's Tagalog. I'm sure they have it. Yeah, I took Spanish in high school and then 2 years in college, but I never, yeah, I just didn't. I can kind of understand it now and everything, but I just never really, I was one of those ones that never tried to sound Spanish, which you got to try to do it, you know. You got to sort of immerse yourself. All 12 years of school. Wow. You still know it? Oh, they've got to have it. Why wouldn't they have Tagalog? That'd be crazy if they don't. Yeah, like I'll say, "Hola, ¿cómo está?" You know, instead of trying to sound like, you know, however you sound. I think, you know what I think? I think if you try to have an accent, you'll probably be accused of cultural appropriation. You're not allowed to sound like that. You aren't allowed to try to sound Spanish, okay? It's, you know, you're trying to... How much you want to bet? So, you know, if you just got to sound like a robot when you say it, or you'll start getting them, well, yeah, you're sounding a little too Spanish there. I think you need to, you know, dial that down a little bit. Can you see that? 8675309? That's what I'm saying. These days, I could actually see somebody doing that. It's ridiculous. Like, the thing is, there's people that wear sombreros, you know, like maybe on Halloween or some shit, and all of a sudden it's offensive, but every time you ask a Spanish person or Mexican person about the sombrero, they go, oh, it doesn't bother us a bit. It only bothers these sort of entitled elite people who think it's bothering somebody, but it doesn't. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Right, so I could see in the future, if you try to sound with a Spanish accent, somebody will go, oh, see? You're trying to take their culture. 100%. One of my kids actually said to me, you don't know how to say it right. Don't talk to me in Spanish until you learn how to do it. Blue, what are you doing, buddy? Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Get it, get it, get it. Ich bin ein Berliner. I want to eat a jelly donut. I guess that's what John F. Kennedy said. He wanted to say, I love Germany or something, or Berlin. People live in Berlin. But I guess what he said was, I love jelly donuts. Yeah. You speak Dutch, Zozo? I doubt it. Yeah, something like that. My husband was born in Holland, speaks both dialects. Alright, let's go. I gotta get the hell out of here. So thank you to Yabba Dabba Doo, Lane Dune, RF, Robin Berardo, Kathy Chapin, Tiffany W, Miranda Fratis Healy, Missy 6X, Just Junie, Iris Rainbow, Chera Doobie, Elaine Talling, Vicky Kennedy, Texas Annie, Chera Doobie, WNC Granny, A Wrinkle in Crime, Simple Me, or Simply Me, Cheryl Bullock, Kit Kat, Peter and then Cali Gal 3 with the goal-saving double cat eye donation. American Lady, Ashley Hansen, Misty Estes, Realtor, Just Junie, Eugenie, Katja T, Tammy Morell, American Lady, KME, and 8675309, who wanted me to sing more Cindy songs, but they just didn't happen. Oh, Cindy. Oh, yeah. Cindy.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy. You got a boom. There ain't no doom. Hey, Cindy. It's a great song that I'm singing for you. Boom, 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 boom. Cindy, 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 Cindy. Boom, 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 boom. Ah.
Hey, look at that. It's Straight Drop. Wow, you're not even a moderator on here anymore. I haven't seen you for like a year. How's it going, Straight Drop? You still out there doing your shows and whatnot? That's pretty funny. Yeah, well, you're at the end of the show. Of course, we're going to sing some songs. Cindy told me, stop, collaborate, and listen. Maybe I should put him back as one. Oh, yeah? That's awesome. But how come no more YouTube? Because you have custody. You don't want to screw up on YouTube. So like, look at that. It's like, no more YouTube. I got custody of my kids. So it's like, once you get custody of your kids, you sure as hell don't want to blow it on YouTube saying a bunch of crap. I didn't know that you needed custody. I thought you were married or something. Now I can't remember exactly what was the situation there. But well, good for you. It's awesome. No, sophisticated? I don't remember saying anything. I didn't want to act the way I was around them. That's all. Oh, good. It's awesome. Yeah, be an awesome dad. Oh, the original story for the dancing bunny is there's a YouTuber out there that literally has a trigger bunny that they put on the screen and hold in their hands to let everybody know something triggering might be coming up. And I always say, if you're in the true crime world and you need a trigger bunny, you need to get the hell out of the true crime community, because every single topic is triggering. I mean, it's almost ludicrous that you need trigger warnings. Okay? What are you doing? Why is there somebody who gets triggered in the true crime community just waiting for something bad to show up? You know what I'm saying? I only talked about that case for like 10 minutes because there was no point. So it was just sort of a, you know, they said that their law enforcement doesn't see anything nefarious, and sort of matches what I was seeing the other day. It just looked like it was going to be, you know, there was a few things, the previous Uber, you know, that was weird or something, but yeah, you need a trigger bunny. I just don't know where people come up with some of this stuff. It's just, oh wait, this ain't funny. I'm no dummy. I'm a trigger bunny, honey. I need to have an actual rap for the trigger bunny. Maybe you can write me one, Straight Drop. Write me a rap for this beat right here for the trigger bunny. I think he did. I think he's dead now. He killed himself. Right. You're kind of a conspiracy theory person, Cindy. Oh, trigger bunny. Ding, ding, ding. You never know what the answer is going to be in that case, but you know, just seems kind of like they would be pretty obvious. I know you always say that, Cindy. Everything sounds ridiculous to you, and how many times when the answer comes out do you go, "Oh, I was wrong"? Everything sounds ridiculous to you. Huh? I mean, of that language? Why would you know that language, Zozo? So you can mute YouTube if you get triggered easily. No, but why though? How about just don't watch true crime if you're triggered? I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Are you being sarcastic again, Ramble On? So you can mute YouTube if you get triggered easily or by what's discussed. Then when they hold the trigger bunny up again, it means the trigger... Hey, whoa! Is that Tosh? Hey, what's going on? Hope you're doing okay. The rumors of Tosh's disappearance are greatly exaggerated. Let's see, that's worth at least another 30 minutes of your time. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. What time is it? What are we talking about then? You talk about something. Yeah, thank you very much, Tosh. Put a 1 if you think that the trigger warnings that true crime YouTubers give their audience is ludicrous. I think it's just, you know what it is I'm going to show you guys something really interesting, and I want you to realize that it's really disturbing stuff. So I'm going to give you a trigger warning because I care so much about you. Give me a break. The truth is they're just going to talk about something that's kind of disturbing, and they just want you to know it and make it seem like they're really edgy. But here's a trigger warning because boy, this stuff is really... I would hope most people would think that. I think it's just polite, Gray. It allows somebody... Well, I know, but here's what I'm trying to say is that when you're... Like my trigger warning at the... it's not even a trigger warning. The thing I have at the beginning of the show, it's sarcastically saying, this is your warning now. During the show, I will not be giving you trigger warnings every single time I'm talking about something. And if that's something you need, go find another channel, okay? And people always, that's not very welcoming to the people. Well, listen, here's what I'm trying to tell you. If true crime triggers you, my advice is to never watch it. Even if it's like if somebody's been assaulted or something and then it triggers you to see another one, then don't watch it, man. It's like, it's scary. It's weird shit. Or just realize that the true crime world has stuff that might bring up things in your, that bother you in your past, but you'll just have to kind of just deal with it. You know what I mean? Because that's a choice you're making by watching true crime. Having people have to stop the show and put up trigger warnings and really kind of word things differently, and the whole crap about saying essayed and unalived, all that crap. Man, that's way too much at that point. What do you guys think? What do you think, 8675309? Does 48 Hours, Dateline, or American Justice give those warnings? No, they don't. Doesn't true crime mean trigger warning? It's just... Huh? No, I mean, there's nothing that's being discussed, Kacha T, that should ever be... if you're on a true crime channel... I mean, I do say sometimes, this stuff we're about to do is kind of gross, but I'm not going to alter what I'm doing, and I don't expect it to, you know... I mean, there's some stuff that's way out there, but people use it really kind of for anything. Like, all of a sudden you're talking about a sexual assault that's went on. Like, the first thing that we went over tonight, I'm not going to go, here's a trigger warning, everybody. Here's a trigger warning. Right, so the thing is I mean, yeah, you can see why people need them, but don't you think that if you're in the true crime world, you shouldn't expect a trigger warning, nor... if you need trigger warnings, should you really even be around it? Because there's people that literally send you emails saying, you know, Gray, you should have put a trigger warning out before you talked about that. It was... No, I shouldn't have, okay? It's not how the world works, you know. We don't all get trigger warnings. Yeah, I totally agree. It's called suicide, sexual assault, murder. Those are all the actual words out there, everybody. Okay? Now, that's what they're called. That's the thing, you know. That's when... I think it's hilarious. I mean, in a way, when people say, well, there was an essay today, and then the people who know what, you know, like, let's say somebody was sexually assaulted, so they're saying essayed so it doesn't trigger them, but they already know what essayed means, so it immediately triggers them anyways, because they it's even more so because they translate it in their head and say it out loud. Yeah, well, mine's not really a legitimate trigger warning. It's more of a mocking sort of... yeah, exactly. Sorry to hear that, Sophisticated. And by the way, the name is actually Sophisticated White Trash. Okay, I'm not calling her a Sophisticated White Trash. You guys got to start changing some of these names. I mean, because me just saying your name sounds bad. You still out there, Tosh? Yeah, unalived. God, what a... Jesus. I've noticed it a while back. Oh yeah, I just told you where it came from. I just made it. I found a 3D bunny and then applied the motion to it, a dance or something. And it's really kind of mocking the idea of having a trigger bunny. Yeah, some of them claim that, but when you hear them explain it, they try to spin it as them being more sensitive. That everybody, you know, like, everybody's welcome. Like, everybody's welcome here. You just, if you're going to, but just assume that there's going to be content that it might be disturbing to you. I'm not going to put trigger warnings for you. Okay, now there are times where I have said, okay, yeah, this part right here is pretty disturbing. Yeah, just because I want to say it, but I'm not required to say anything. Yeah, well, I gotta get off of here so sort of get ready because I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna go to mopping or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Look at that. You guys see the exchange between Katya T and Cindy J. That's how you work through a misunderstanding. There's a boom for you. That's one that it deserves one, not the other crap. Right, exactly. 8675309. That's exactly what I think. Okay. Well, anyways, thank you, Tosh, there at the end there. And that's it for the show tonight, everybody. I got to get prepared for tomorrow. I got to get the show ready, and then I got to, get my fly rod. I'm going to try to do some fly fishing, show them how to do that, and then we're going to bring the regular poles, maybe stop somewhere else. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Yeah. I don't think you can compare the word white trash with that word American lady. Yeah, I don't think you can compare. That's totally different things. Some people call themselves that because they think it doesn't, but I could see how it could bother you. Yeah, hopefully I can, There's this restaurant called the Oasis in Maupin. They have these, like the best hamburgers you could ever. So maybe I'll get him some of those. Yeah, exactly, Zozo. Yeah. Zozo said. He said, if people need to blame others because they're triggered, something isn't right. We don't need someone to hold our hands as adults through life. Don't like it. Don't watch. Can't handle it. Yeah, just I don't think it has the same American lady. Like, that term doesn't really have the same sort of historical negative context. Now, I will say that I think that black people should probably not use that word in as many in talking, and it's not really the it's just sort of like when you're using it in rap songs and just everywhere, like the word dude almost. It just becomes part of what everybody, and then it could easily be said by somebody who's not black, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're a racist or whatever. So it's like, some inner city kids, if you're like a white kid and you're hanging around, black people use the N-word a lot over and over and over again. I could see it sort of creeping into that white students or friends vocabulary, and does that make them a racist? I don't think so. It sort of makes them part of, sort of in that culture, hanging out with them, and it just kind of sucks. If you want the word out of society, quit using it. Okay. I can't stand the word. I never say it. I don't even say it when I'm trying to use an example of, like, it's just covered a couple of years ago that were super graphic, descriptive. I tuned out, like the fly story. Let me tell that fly story again. So we had these flies. Just kidding. Yeah, it shouldn't be in music. Yeah, because let's say there's a rap song that has that word in it. The A version, right? So, I mean, when you're rapping it and you want to rap by yourself and you're saying that, you're a racist now because you put that in there, or what? It's just. Yeah, but why should you be ashamed, Cindy, when it was in the rap song that you were singing, right? It's a song that somebody wrote that they wanted you to buy, that you likely would sing. But yeah, there's songs that I know it's in it, and I can't sing those ones. Forget it. Not going to do it. As bi like a female, I'm called cis. So, yeah. All right, you guys, I got to get the hell out of here, all right? So thank you very much, everybody, for reaching the goal and then some tonight. Appreciate that on the day crew, too. American Lady for earlier on the early show, as well as other people. And Cindy J, boom, not for the Google search, but for your dialogue with Katya T there. I definitely give you a boom for that one. All right. Okay, everybody, thank you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while
Yeah,
now.
Cindy, I can look stuff up on
During
Google
this whole
too.
time, I have not seen one person.
You gotta do something a little higher
That is
next time, alright? Thanks.
Crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya
On a stretcher, if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a plug protector, full reflector, interceptor. And I mean a little spectre with a vector.
his specter with all respect, y'all.
Just remember,
I've a temper fucking
conjecture.
I have
No agenda, I'm a bartender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Alright, everybody, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for what?
Well, just thanks for watching the show.
Oh, yeah. It was just, you seemed like they were thanking you for something.
Well, they were cheering me on, Gray. You weren't, though.
Well, yeah, because I think you... never mind.
What were you gonna say, Gray?
I'm not going to tell you. Oh, boy.
What's so funny, Gray? That's not very nice. Good night, everybody. Yay!
Good night, Mary Lou.
No, thank you, Gray. No, thank you.
Wow. That's mean. All right. Anyways, we'll see you later. Be safe out there.